Back on Inside Tennessee, we saw the approval rating for Senator Hagerty. Senator Marsha Blackburn's at 41%. Let's move to the next one in this Beacon Center poll. This is the next graphic we want to show you, which is which of the following statements best reflects your view on capitalism and socialism. So digest that for a moment, that 58% of you support capitalism as it promotes freedom and economic growth. And then let's move to a third graphic, and this one has a little depth to it as well, about Tennessee business taxes, and you can see the breakdown there. All right, Don, as we leave that graphic up so people can digest it for a second, Mark, what stands out to you, and then we'll get to Don.
Well, I've seen a lot about our poll from kind of the Democratic Party and from some of the members running, that the 41% approval rating of Marsha Blackburn is something that they are excited about. It's one of the lower ones in the country, and it makes them feel, I mean, I've seen the Tennessee Holler post about it, it makes them feel like they have a real chance in this election, because that is not a very high approval rating, and she is way underwater among Democrats. I think she's minus 36%, which is a really strong number. And the second thing is, the socialism capitalism one is a great topic, because you see across the country, you see socialism polling around 20, 25, 30%, and only 9% of Tennesseans support that. And even Democrats, you see a lot of times on the right, they'll say, oh, the Democrats are all socialists. The Democrats prefer capitalism to socialism by 15 points. So it is impressive that capitalism is doing so well. And even people, they see some good sides of both of them. No one really supports socialism for the most part.
So, Mark, let me tell you, and I think you nailed it, by the way, why our state may trend a little differently nationally, because it was always said of Tennessee Democrats that were blue dog Democrats, not yellow dogs. That said, the question bothered me only because I can walk down the street, ask 10 people, what does capitalism mean to you? Get a different answer from each of them. What does socialism mean to you? Get a different answer from each of them. And so in terms of the validity of the question, I suppose, it's confusing, because, I know what my definitions are. As someone who has a degree in political science and a law degree, I think they're consistent, but I know that I have a lot of meaningful, thoughtful friends that, they equate socialism with some of the worst things in the world, and likewise capitalism. So I just wonder, what value really does this question kind of have to us?
Yeah, well, I think it's a big topic of conversation, and you see that, and we try to use definitions. So we actually define capitalism as an economic system based on private ownership and free markets. And we talk about socialism as an economic system where the means of production are owned and controlled collectively by the government. And I think that's a great point that you make, because so many people define socialism and capitalism incorrectly. There's a pretty clear definition, and actually hearing that, it's just because somebody wants a little bit more government doesn't make them a socialist. So we did that, and it's a topic that's going on right now across the country, and you see, especially in places like New York, where they have socialist people actually running for office. It was just interesting to me where Tennessee was, and like you said, there's a lot more blue dog Democrats who say, I'm a Democrat, but I still believe in capitalism. I just think there needs to be some regulation for it.
John?
Okay. This is your time.
John's been waiting.
He has
all
been
morning.
Bated breath here.
I love the question about betting. Thank you for asking that, but that's not what I'm going to talk to you about. Potholes. We actually have something in this state that we agree upon. It's not a red or a blue issue. Discuss.
Yeah, the government does a terrible job with potholes.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
The government does a terrible job with potholes. Everyone from every background, every ethnicity, every political thing does not believe the government does a good job filling potholes. And honestly, 26% of people being satisfied the government fills potholes, I think is shockingly high. And they must be in very rural areas where there's not many roads. So a full 70% of people were dissatisfied with the government's effort in Tennessee to repair potholes.
So, Mark, your job is to find a way to capitalize fixing potholes.
That's
Since
right.
the government can't do it through its socialistic means.
Monetize.
All right.
Domino's can do it, right? They tried to fix potholes in places, so Domino's would do a better job than Tennessee government, it sounds like.
Well, Mark, let's move to your just overall observations on this poll. Any other key takeaways, because we only have about 90 seconds left, but anything else that you think stands out?
One more thing that we didn't make any graphics for, but Tennesseans are really pessimistic right now. They're pessimistic in the way the country's going. It's about -50 in that, but they're actually even pessimistic on how the state's going. It's a +8, but that's down almost 30 points from our last poll. They're pessimistic with the education system, and they're pessimistic with their chances. They think there's going to be a recession coming up. They're economically worse off than they were a year ago, and they're worried they're not going to have sufficient financial opportunity in the future. And they don't necessarily blame either party or one president or another president. They just feel a lot more pessimistic than they have in the past. And, it seems like Tennesseans usually have this, great attitude and that they're ready and that they're excited about the future. That's not the case right now. And it's actually pretty concerning to see some of the numbers.
Let's leave it there because we want to pick up on that in the next poll and see if that rings true in August when we've had even more campaigning, more of an onslaught of this and that and negativity. So, Mark, we appreciate you so much for making time to join us and for breaking this down for us yet again.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your Sunday and stay with us. We're going to be back with some insight from Don Bosch on what it was like to be right in the middle of the OJ trial. News this week that you're going to want to hear.